I have seen reports and other religious documentation, such as like the Egyptian scrolls and whatnot, where there was like a horse body and the upper half was a human body. And I used to think that was mystical for the longest time, but now that I'm really have wrapped my head around everything, I don't think it's mystical at all, because it is truly my belief that all of these gods that the Egyptians worshiped, the Hindus worshiped, the Mayans worshiped, all of them, these were real things. Not gods, maybe demigods, because of their genetic makeup. But these demigods have some sense of power and much strength because of who their fathers were. And now it makes so much sense when you look at it on the grand scheme of things. When you really step back and look at it from, a higher elevation point, you see how it all came together. You do. You literally see how it all came together. Because if you think about it, look at it this way. The nations, they were not really formed. They were not really developed and went their separate ways until Tower of Babel, right? When it was struck down and everybody was sent packing in a different direction. But before that was that was right after the flood, right after all of these genetic abominations. So you would have had these, quote, demigods running rampant all over the land, rampant everywhere. And what's really interesting is every one of these religious, organizations or communities or ancient civilizations all have a flood myth tied to the same time period. So it's really fascinating when you think about it. The fallen angels had something to do with the dinosaurs. And I don't want to give it away too much, because Tim Cohen has a really, really good teaching on this because of many things that he's gathered, lots of fossil examination and whatnot. But what is important to understand is the climate of the earth during the time in the pre-flood. I know that I've mentioned it, but there is a Trey Smith episode where he is in Texas at a museum and also a scientific lab where they have a pressurized chamber that is recreating the atmosphere that it was during the time of Noah. And what we find through these experiments and what we find through like my research is everything was much bigger. Everything was much bigger because of the O2 level, the way that the DNA was not damaged from the elements of the sun and the radiation. We even see that like Noah's, especially Noah's wife, when we look at her bones, when True Lady Liberty and I were at the Wyatt's family home and we saw her bones, her hand bones, she was large. Her sarcophagus was 18 feet. Think about that, guys. And I have pictures on the computer I've showed before, but her hand was about double the size of a normal hand. And this is not because of being Nephilim or anything of that nature. This is because the oxygen-rich environment and the atmosphere was different. Much different. Think about it. All the pre-flood humans lived almost 1,000 years old. It was not until after the flood that you immediately started to see the ages fall off. Immediately after. Noah survived the flood, but he lived 400 or 500 years additional. He outlived several generations. And I believe it was because of his DNA was not altered from the change of the environment and whatnot, like many other were. So I think it's really interesting. It really is. If you have not seen that episode that Trey Smith has done where he went to that lab and they recreate the environment of the pre-flood in that hyperbaric chamber, it's really fascinating. Like, here's one example. In this hyperbaric chamber where they're recreating the flood atmosphere, poison, venomous poison, actually turns into a serum of healing. That's wild. You will see that, like, mice are growing extraordinary bigger in size. Snakes growing 5 times in size. So there's something to do with that environment. Oh yeah, Big Sherm. Hands down. Arc of Darkness was just, that is up there on the tippy top of my favorite movies. Like, some of my favorite is, the Ron Wyatt's documentary. Well, it actually isn't Ron Wyatt's documentary. It was another channel that did the documentary, but it used like 16 or 17 other archaeologists to compile all of Ron's findings to validate everything that he had found. But the Arc of Darkness, oh goodness, it really is. That is the perfection of making a point when it came to the pre-flood conditions. After you watch Arc of Darkness, there is absolutely no debate how it went down. They did such an incredible job explaining this. It wasn't just one guy's opinion. This was a group of scientists doing lab tests, DNA soil samples. It was absolutely incredible. Miss Sammy Poor said, I'm okay.